In a world that feels increasingly chaotic and uncertain, in a life filled with pressures, anxieties, and fears, there is a deep and universal longing in the human soul. It is the longing for a protector, for a guide, for a safe place to rest. We long to know that we are not alone, that someone strong and good is watching over us. And thousands of years ago, a shepherd king named David penned 6 short verses that have become the most powerful and beloved answer to that longing. It is Psalm 23. We often hear this psalm at funerals, a beautiful poem of comfort for a final journey. But David did not write this for the dead. He wrote it for the living. He wrote it for the battlefield, for the lonely nights, for the seasons of drought, for the moments when enemies surrounded him. This is not a sentimental poem. It is a radical, defiant, and deeply personal declaration of trust in the midst of the chaos of life. And today we are going to walk through this sacred pasture together, verse by verse, and let its profound truth restore our souls. The psalm opens with the most foundational statement of faith a person can make. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Stop for a moment and feel the weight of those first 5 words. The Lord is my shepherd. The word Lord here in the original Hebrew is Yahweh, the covenant-keeping, personal, ever-present God. And David, the king, the warrior, humbly identifies himself as a simple sheep. He understands that a sheep is completely dependent, vulnerable, and prone to wander. And he declares that this great, powerful God has taken on the personal, intimate, and often dirty job of being his shepherd. Notice the personal nature of it. Not a shepherd, but my shepherd. This is not a statement about God in general. It is a declaration about your relationship with him. And what is the immediate result of this relationship? I shall not want. This is not just a prayer for our daily bread. It is a profound statement of ultimate sufficiency. It means, if the Lord is my shepherd, then my deepest need has already been met. The need for a protector, a provider, a guide, it's all fulfilled in him. Everything else is secondary. The anxieties we have about money, about our future, about our needs, they are all answered in this one powerful declaration. If he is your shepherd, you lack nothing that is truly essential. David then describes the nature of this shepherd's care. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. A shepherd knows that sheep will not lie down unless they are completely free from fear, from friction with other sheep, from pests, and from hunger. The fact that the shepherd makes them lie down is an act of enforced peace. In our busy, hustle-driven lives, God often has to lovingly force us into seasons of rest, into green pastures, because he knows we need it. He leads us away from the frantic, rushing currents of the world and brings us beside quiet waters, a place of spiritual refreshment where we can drink deeply and be satisfied. And what is the result of this rest and refreshment? He restores my soul. This is the promise for the one who is burned out, weary, and whose spirit feels depleted. The Good Shepherd knows how to bring your inner world back to life. He doesn't just care for your physical needs. He is the restorer of your very being. Then the psalm shifts from provision to direction. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. This is the answer for the person who feels lost, confused, or afraid of making the wrong decision. The shepherd knows the way. He has walked the path before. He knows where the safe trails are and where the cliffs are. He guides us. But the motivation is the most beautiful part. He does it for his name's sake. This means he guides you correctly because his own reputation as a good shepherd is on the line. Your guidance is secure, not because you are so good at following, but because he is so committed to his own good name. He will not let one of his sheep be lost because of his poor guidance. And now, David takes us from the green pastures into the darkest place imaginable. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. This is the heart of the psalm for so many. Notice, it does not say if I walk through the valley. It says, even though I walk. It is a guarantee. In this life there will be valleys. There will be seasons of grief, of sickness, of profound loss and darkness. The psalm does not promise a life free from valleys. It promises that we will never have to walk through them alone. What is the antidote to the fear of evil in that dark place? One single, powerful truth. For you are with me. The presence of the shepherd changes everything. He does not shout directions from the mountaintop. He gets down in the valley and walks through it with us. And he carries two tools. The rod was a heavy club used to defend the sheep against predators, bears, lions, wolves. It is a symbol of God's power to protect you from your enemies. The staff was a long pole with a crook on the end, used to gently guide the sheep and to hook a sheep that had fallen into a ditch and pull it back to safety. It is a symbol of his gentle guidance and his rescuing grace. His power and his presence are our comfort in the darkest times. Then the scene shifts dramatically, from a dark valley to a banqueting hall. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. D. This is one of the most shocking and triumphant images in the Bible. God does not just protect you from your enemies, He honors you in front of them. He prepares a lavish feast for you, a public declaration of your value and His vindication, while your enemies, be they people, circumstances, or spiritual forces, are forced to watch. This is the promise for the person who has been betrayed, slandered, or belittled. Your shepherd is also your vindicator, and he will honor you. And the honor continues. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. In that culture, anointing a guest's head with fragrant oil was a sign of hospitality and great honor. It was an act of refreshment and healing. It speaks of God's personal, tender care for your wounds and your weariness. And then the result, my cup overflows. This is the opposite of a life of scarcity and lack. This is a life of abundant, overflowing blessing, joy, and grace, so much that it cannot be contained. The psalm ends with a breathtaking summary of the past, present, and future of a life lived under the shepherd's care. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The Hebrew word for follow here is much more active. It means to pursue, to chase after. David is saying that God's goodness and His unfailing love are like two loyal sheepdogs, actively pursuing you, chasing you down every single day of your life, ensuring you never truly wander off. You cannot outrun the grace of God. And what is our final destination? And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The journey, with all its green pastures and dark valleys, ends in one place, at home, in the presence of our loving shepherd forever. This psalm is your inheritance. It is your reality. Today, you can make this declaration your own and let it silence every fear and every anxiety. The Lord is my